Hey, y'all, it's your girl, Miss V. Okay, yes, you can say it. She's so loud. It's all right. You know me. You know I'm loud. The people in the building don't quite know yet, but they know now. In the building today, y'all, I'm going to let them introduce their own names.
Sabein.
And they're here to tell us a little bit about their story, their life, and the things that we've been talking about thus far with mental health. It all ties in together. Before we get started, first I want to get social media information out.
Um, Basically, I ain't Sabein on Instagram, Sabein on Facebook.
Oh, they can't get yours wrong then.
Uh,
Yeah, it's pretty much, this is my name. You know my name, you know my page.
Well, my Facebook is my name, Lamont McGinnis. I have a mobile detailing company. So my Instagram is money moves mobile detailing.
Okay. Money moves. Okay, move
Money
detail.
moves underscore.
We didn't get your business
I
name.
mean,
Is your business name on Instagram or Facebook?
yeah, same thing.
Look, you don't know
Same
my
thing. I don't have a business. Just whatever the brand is, just see my face. That's the business.
That's the brand. I like that.
That's
Now I gotta change my I gotta change it up how I say it, y'all. If you see me, the brand is in the building. I'm the walking billboard. Okay. All right. So today, Sabein, I brought you in, you and Mr. Lamont over here, and to get some of your past history on incarceration and fair and unfair judgment with the city and state and government, because everybody get tied in to everybody's story some kind of way. Am I saying
In
that
my
correct?
case, I had all three.
Right. That's why I'm saying. That's why I want to put everything, because I want people to understand. It's not just always, oh, what the state did to me, or what, you know what I mean. I want them to understand how it went.
Well, basically, my situation was dealing with Baltimore City Police, in which a murder happened, which was a robbery occurred and result in a home invasion robbery, and then when the murder, my girlfriend was being killed. However, before I went in the house and found my girlfriend, I was watching somebody get arrested. And I asked the guy that was on the ground, did he want me to go get his mother, because I knew him. And you know what I mean? He was like, no, I'm all right. So that was just that. Then fast forward, when I went to the house, and that's when I found my girlfriend, and I called the police and waited for him, and that's how it started.
And that's how the ball got to rolling. So it's so ironic, because I didn't hear the beginning of the story, what happened before you got home before. How ironically you were being a good Samaritan and helping somebody, making sure they good.
Yeah, and the whole time,
Your
I didn't
home.
know that my whole life was going to turn upside down.
Upside down.
Yeah,
You
but
can't even forget that piece.
right. And what I think really happened from the beginning, once they actually found out who I was, you know, because during that time they didn't know who I was at first.
Okay.
So once they actually found out who I was, that's when they started.
Snowballing the
Snow,
whole
the,
case.
the whole snowball effect started. You know what I mean? And what the main thing that I got from all of it was that, and I would find this out later, but I knew they knew from the beginning, because when they had me in homicide, an officer came and asked me, said, I know you, when did you get out? I didn't really think nothing of it, but they knew me before I went in. You know what I mean? Then during that time, during them years, I was what you would call a mid-level drug dealer, you know,
Okay.
and
So you was somebody that hit the hour on anyway.
yeah, and I had just came home, but I was getting a lot of money, yeah, a lot of money, yeah, and so moving forward, once I got arrested, they let me go, and they said that 35 days later they came and rearrested me and said that the test came back that I fired a gun. But what I would find out almost 20-something years later, not only the test was wrong, but the test wasn't even no good. It was considered moot science. And it also came out that I never even should have been arrested, period. But what I didn't know, and I would find this out years later, probably like 12 or 13 years later after I was doing my, now matter of fact, about 15 years later, I would find out that the son had actually saw who came in the house. They told him that night that So I never knew. So all the years,
15 years.
yeah. So they knew, but they knew as early as the night that it happened that I didn't know. But 15 years later,
And you-
right, when it started coming out, because he had wrote me a letter,
mhm.
you know what I mean? And he,
Oh, wow, the child did, her son did.
our son did, yeah, he was 6 years old during
When
the
it happened.
night of the murder, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so when he wrote me back, when he wrote me the letter, it was like he was 26. I mean, something
Yeah,
like
so
that.
he
He would
grown
be,
now.
yeah, he was grown at that time.
Yeah,
And,
that's something
anyway,
that don't leave your mind. Yeah.
but the whole thing of it is what I found out after so many years of going back to court and you know, I used to always call it writing and fighting. That's all I really did in prison was work out and law. You know what I mean?
Good, put your
And that was it. And you know, for the most part, but what I found out was, you know, it ain't so much about what they do to you. You got to find out a way to unravel it so it won't happen to nobody else.
Exactly.
And so that's what's basically it. You know.
So once he sent you the letter, you just kind of like rifled through and dug through the situation yourself.
No, when he sent me the letter, once he had sent me the letter, the Innocent Project had already been working on my case. But when he sent me the letter, I was out of state. I was in solitary confinement in Virginia, in the Red Onion State Prison, and Maryland was throwing my mail away, so I never knew.
Wow.
And the Innocent Project was looking for me, so nobody knew I was at. You know, Maryland was, you know, wouldn't tell them where I was at.
Right.
They you know, basically they was hiding me in the
Yeah,
system.
basically return to sender. I don't even know where he at. He
you
not
know,
here.
and during them years, you know, I had a whole bunch of assaults on the police and a whole bunch of stuff was going on, but that was even here or there. But the whole thing is, so when I did get the letter, I sent it to my lawyer, and I let my lawyers talk to him and deal with him, opposed to me. And
Right.
so, you know, it was just so many things, because by that time they had knew that the feds had gave the police a folder and was telling them, like, look, y'all got a man locked up. He shouldn't be locked up.
Right. So they now all that's coming out that all that happened when the baby was 6.
Yeah, right. So it was a point when, and I didn't even know this till later too, after I had got out, but they had the feds went to them, they gave them a folder and like, look, you know, y'all got a man locked up for a murder he ain't do. You know, and so he gave it to a sergeant, and the sergeant hit it.
Wow.
And what would happen is, once I was exonerated in 14, everything came out. You know, so that when everything came out,
The fact that federal information came across to them.
yeah,
That came out that they had that
but when it came out, he was a federal agent.
by them.
Yeah, he was a federal agent by then, right? And so
Yeah.
so the whole thing started getting in like the rookie cop that I was talking to that night. He was the commissioner.
I was going to say everybody had moved
Everybody
up.
moved up. I mean, you
elevated
got
by
30, 20 years went by, so
Yeah.
everybody, you know, moved
Yeah.
up. You know what I'm saying?
Promotions out there, wrongful.
And that's what I was
Everybody.
going to say, how
Yeah.
many wrongful convictions they
Yeah.
did during that time. So that's how a lot of them got promoted.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
remember, I don't mean to cut you off. You remember the show Homicide: Life on the Streets of Baltimore? They got that. It was so popular because their conviction rate. They was solve
I remember.
They was putting them together.
Yeah.
But what would happen is my case had so many different polices involved in it. One of the police was in the McGinnis case, and there's several people cases. So when I got out,
The names over and over.
yeah,
and
but
over.
no, but when I got out, people started realizing like, man, because I had all the dirty cops in my case, from the feds all the way down
All the way down.
everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Anybody that was dirty touched yours.
Yeah, and it wasn't like it was a murder that the whole city knew I didn't do it.
Right.
You know, and I was just, you know, and I had a lot of ways I could have came home, but I was only coming home one way, the same way I went in. So that wasn't me in the cards, and I never ever went up for parole. I never ever accepted my incarceration, and I just did it my way, looking forward to my day. I ain't even care.
That is like the most positive thing. So originally in court they gave you what? What was your sentencing?
Life at 20.
And you let that ride, like I know I'm free, so I'm gonna be free soon.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I
You
mean,
know you didn't do
oh, he'll tell you, I was going home every year. Every year I was on my way.
So
Anybody that know me that was locked up there tell you I was going home every year.
every year you was like, I'm going home this
Yeah, I'm on my way. Yeah.
Yeah, so tell me how the dirty cops tied into your case.
Well, I can't talk about my case.
Okay.
I'm still in the litigation.
Right, so we
But
not
there's
going.
so many. I didn't really find out until his case till he won. It was like and read the jump like, yo, all this time we've been talking about cases and stuff. I just didn't know.
So everybody
But it
just
made
working on their
sense.
thing, but nobody ever told names and details, so nobody knew just how much I was
say
tied
nobody.
in.
It's just
I mean, no, I'm
something-
not saying nobody. I'm just
something
saying you
cracks.
never really knew how much each other was tied in.
Yeah, but it was more of like, to his point, what happened was we were seeing these officers, but during them years we was just,
Right.
we trying to get out. We
trying,
all right,
yeah.
this police, whatever, that. But it really didn't mean nothing until later. So when it hit, like I said, once I got out, everybody was calling me and, sending people to me like, man, this, that. So what they messed around and did was realize that I got smart. I was a lot smarter than they
Yeah,
thought.
I was ready to say because they have a tendency already to think we're gonna put this black dummy in jail.
Oh,
Right,
that
that's
ain't
how-
it.
That's
You
what
got
they think.
Let me tell you what they did when I got out. So after I got out and started going to court and all that, my lawyers told me two things. He said, you can't go to jail and you can't die. Right? And after that, I was running from the police, like high-speed cases. Like, it just so much going on, shootouts. Like, I was in the streets.
Because they wanted, and so you knew for nothing else you couldn't go
I
back
was
to
set
jail.
up for failure, you know what I mean? But and
Because you came out here with nothing.
not
Just
only
'cause you
that,
came.
not only I was home, but I came home with nothing, right? And I at first I was working, I was making $7 an hour, and that wasn't doing it.
Right.
And I tried several different things, that wasn't working, so I went back to what I knew. And when I hit the streets, one thing I seen that was seeing it when I first got out, but till I really got there, it wasn't the same, and I hated every day of it. You know what I'm saying? And
Everything
it wasn't
had
no
changed
money.
within that time.
You got to think like, before I left, we making $30,000 and $40,000 a day. Our bad day is $10,000.
Yeah.
I mean, we by 7:30 at night, we gone.
Yeah.
If you come 7:31, we ain't got nothing for you. We gone. We going to get ready for the club, and we
Yeah.
going to hotels, and we outside. You know what I'm saying?
Running
So
somebody,
so when I came back
Changed a lot.
and went back to the streets, they was talking about $6 and $10, and I was like, I'm not gonna be able to do it. It just wasn't
It
adding
just
up.
don't even make sense to me.
Yeah, and it was the one thing that really I think took me for a loop was a lot of guys that had money when I first came home. I seen all of them decline from within 4 years. Because I had to leave. I was here. I came home at 14. I left and went back to different states and came back in 18.
Okay.
And a lot of them guys was broke. And what I realized was a lot of guys that looked like they had some money, they was broke. They ain't own nothing.
Nope.
You know what I mean? They was just stunting in front.
And that's the thing, they could get the money that they had got or hands had touched, never did anything with it.
Right,
So like now
right.
our communities are really like
Right.
not even ours.
And that's what I always said to myself, like, when I get some money, I know what to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like I said, back to my point before I left, I had a bunch of money. But I wasn't home long enough to spend none of it.
Right.
So when I went to jail, I had money. You know what I mean? It looked like they locked me up one day, I came home, and then, 35 days after I paid for the funeral and all that stuff, next thing you know, I'm back in jail. Now I'm fighting for my life. You know what I mean?
Because
So-
you did say they said, "Oh, you home? You back home?"
Yeah.
Like they was shocked to even know that you was back on the street.
Yeah,
then.
right. But and now what I do is because I mentor kids, I coach football.
Awesome,
You know what I
awesome.
mean, 6 to 13-year-olds, and I see a lot of kids that's in general, and I do and every now and then I'm like, hey, OG man, I want to live like you live, do what you doing. I say, man, You don't even know what it took me to
I
get
was
here.
going to say, you don't know what
You
it
don't
took
have a clue.
to get me right here where I am.
Yeah,
Like this solitary confinement alone, when we talked about that and how long it was.
Yeah, I mean, the solitary confinement was crazy.
That.
I mean, all right, so this how it was. All right, basically. 23-1, lockdown, under the gun, never seen the sun. It was you don't see no sunlight if you go out. You ain't gonna know what the weather is. You ain't gonna know if it's day or night. They leave a bright light. Yeah, they leave a bright light on, brighter than this, all night, like that light.
Like
That's
that.
during the day. And then at
That's
night,
to send a person
you cut that
to
out.
jail.
This your night light.
It was psychological.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And every 10 minutes, somebody walk around looking in your window, all you just see is a white face. And then you might wake up a tour group that's walking around, and guys was trying to kill themselves, cutting themselves. Dudes was just doing the most heinous things you could think of to try to just get to a better place.
Even if it's to a hospital bed, I just want to be out of
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And tell us, how long did you stay in that dark place in that situation?
10 years.
10 years. That's the big piece right there. And I didn't want to say it. I wanted you to say it. 10 years in such a state.
Yeah.
You have to have the strongest faith. You know how a lot of people say how their faith level is this big, and they believe in this, and they believe in that. Do you know the faith level you have to take 10 years of that kind of solitary confinement?
I be thinking about when I tell people I done had nearly 3,000 days in solitary confinement. I know that it's men that spent way more time in solitary confinement than I did, right? So I was like, we do it. But a lot of times, we do it with the support of each other. He went to Red Onion, other dudes went to Red Onion with him.
Yeah.
That they knew because they had a situation. So a bunch of them went to Red Onion. And then they was there, and he was suffering through it. He was suffering, everybody was suffering through it, right? And that's why I was telling you before, with these groups, with these, we being each other's support system out here now, the same way. I think. Hey, is that how you got through it?
So are you able to talk from yourself to the next person's cell and say, "Yo, you good? You hanging in there?" Or
No, it was. I mean,
it's not that
you could, but it was so bad. Like you couldn't even pass a magazine. So if you might that's how I started writing books, basically.
Yeah.
Right. And but it was just a whole lot of stuff that was going on that they would do. And like when they come to your door, basically like so during weekends, they only give you 2 meals. They give you your breakfast, they give you a brunch and a dinner, right? And they just call it the big breakfast, right? So that's the one time during the week we look forward to eat, because during the week they might give you lima beans as your protein, some rice or kale or whatever, and some juice, and that was that. You know what I mean? That was it. You know what I'm saying? So the only time you really get to eat is during the week. But the other thing is during the weekend, if you go out, you leave some food in there, and they go looking for it because they know people try to save their food. Yeah, but then and then with me, I don't eat a lot of stuff, so it just didn't even. It just is one of them things. But I had an episode out there where I had got a letter from my lawyer, and they was telling me, we found you. We need the transcripts. And why these people told me they weren't sending my transcripts out.
They can do that?
They did that.
They did that.
But they got them out.
They got them.
But I ended up having to go. They got this thing they call a 5-point restraints. I ended up fighting the police and getting gas and all that stuff. But anyway, they had when you go into 5-point restraints, in order to come out, the psychiatrist got to talk to you to come out. I wouldn't never talk to the psychiatrist, so I stayed in there the longest, right? And at night, when they say like the 5-point restraints is, both your legs, both your arms, and one around your neck.
Yeah, right. I worked at Shepherd Pratt.
Right, well that, right.
Us having to put people in the pen.
Right, and when they let you up, they put you in the 3-piece, which is around your your ankles, and a chain, and then your wrist. And
no, we never 3-piece.
And they was trying to get me out, so they had the windows open. Pound, Virginia is on the Kentucky. It's like if you go one way, it's Kentucky. If you go another way, you still. If you go another way, you're in Memphis. So that's like the very tip of starting of the Midwest.
All the staff was like.
But it was up in the mountains. I'm talking about all. I mean, I ain't talking about no road. It was basically when we was going up there in the bus. It looked like they were going. All you seen coming down was logging trucks. You know what I mean? And
Something up there.
yeah, that ain't nothing up there. But
So how did you end up going there? Because that's not where you went first.
no, they sent us. They sent 15. We was the first. They had to open a new prison, no, they called it North Branch.
Okay.
And up in Cumberland, and they said we was the worst of the worst, so they locked us up, and they sent us in there to test to see,
Wow.
test the prison and guards.
That day, I was hiding under the bunk. Look, they were surprised. Money ain't on this bus.
So how did you?
Go ahead. Let me
Get,
finish
well,
the story.
I was gonna say I wonder how you persuade your
people
way.
up, the worst of the worst, and open that prison up there. Ain't coming. Supposed to be the Ultramax.
But
go ahead,
we
I wasn't on the bus. Go ahead.
Because the story we got the other day, I'm gonna tell you why.
right,
I'm
go
gonna ask
ahead.
how you did
So-
on the bus.
when we went up there, the first thing was the racism was crazy, right? But the second thing was that they took so much of our stuff that when they finished, like you just didn't have nothing, and there wasn't no way to get nothing. So
just
that was
right
it.
there.
But and then you know how they used to let us out. They used to let us out at first 2 at a time. You know what I mean? A little bit at a time, a little bit at a time.
So it's like watching rats in a maze. See how
Right,
it's going through
right. But everything. They just making sure the control panel, everything worked, and they had a wall running down the middle of it, so you ain't know who was on the other side and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
amazing you.
And they wasn't really, like I said, we wasn't going out, and they did so much, and so all us, half of us ended up going on lockup. I had phone, you know what I mean, other stuff. Everybody ended up going on lockup. So when all us came off of lockup, they put us in cells in a line. That was their biggest mistake. That's how all us got back together.
I was going to say, now why would they do that?
Right. And then one
You
day,
didn't think that part through?
and then one day, the police disrespect somebody, and we was like, this their day, and went out there and beat the police.
All of y'all? I mean, like
No,
everybody
it wasn't a whole
without-
lot of us. It wasn't.
but I'm just saying,
it
like,
was only.
few that was there together.
It was only like 15 of us, 15 out at a time. It was only 15 of us out.
But he caught it from the 15.
It was more than us. It was like them.
Oh,
But I was stacking them up.
yeah.
So they had charged me with the Terrorist Act. They charged me with the Terrorist Act. They said, so I was one of the main ones.
Yeah,
But I was the one they
either
wanted.
one. It's the
But
one
I
who
was
put it
I was
together.
the one. No, I was the one they
the
wanted
thing.
because I was doing the most. Cause I was just like, man, look, we gonna go ahead.
Hands off over here.
We gonna get them out of here.
Listen, man, they different up
And
Wow.
They
Wow.
different. They different.
Wow.
and I ended up having to go to when I went to court. I don't know how they got the deal. They gave me they ended up had to give me a deal because remember I told you about the wall,
Yeah.
and the dude that was doing my legal work in the mail, he home Stacy. You know, he was doing my legal work in another jail for me, and he kept saying, man, ain't nowhere in the world they can see all that through that wall. And they switched the cameras. They just was doing everything but it was just they put me in too many
wondered,
places.
This little genius, what can we do
Yeah,
right
so
now?
so what I did was, like I said, I knew I was going home. And, you know what I mean? I just didn't know when,
That's
but
why
I
you
knew I
say
was going
keep in
home.
mind.
So I ended up taking a lot of people cases. You know what I mean? Taking the charge for them, and you know what I mean? And that's how. And everybody got the deal. Yeah, that's how that happened. But
Wow,
that's how
was
that
big
went.
of
Yeah,
you.
yeah, that's how that went. I mean, that's what we do though.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, I was in prison for nothing. So everything after that, it didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
Yeah, you know.
Look what y'all did to me for nothing.
Yeah, it wasn't no, your mother can't save you, your homeboy, you got to figure out for yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I just couldn't imagine. So it's just like how they stated when they created the projects. It was everything was created like a rat race to see if we put them up here and to stack them up together, what will they do? Who will get out? How they will make it out?
Yeah. But the thing is that and what I learned was that it ain't so much about what happened to you as what you do at the happen. You know what I mean? And because like even coming home, like the years that like people think I always had money. I ain't had no money. They had me out here. And then I had won my case. And they said I had $15 million. I ain't had no money. Right?
This is when you working for the $7 during that time.
No, this was a little later. This was a little later, but I ain't have no money. Right? But they done put me on the news front page on the news that I got $15 million.
Which make people look, oh yeah, he's sitting like that.
And I'm in
yeah, right.
And I'm in Baltimore. I'm in the street, so it ain't like you gotta look for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm just one of them dudes. Like, yeah, I want to see.
But the crazy thing is, let me cut you off. For somebody to suffer the way we suffered, right? And get compensated, which I wouldn't even trade no amount of money for the time and stuff we lost. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't.
No, I didn't.
The family that went away while you was gone.
But for somebody to want to take it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they tried to kidnap me several times.
And that's what I was great asked. Like, did you have people? Because when people see those kind of stories on the news, you know, the crooked thinking ones, they instantly think, oh, we can go ahead and get him and get that.
They tried to kidnap me twice.
Because they thought you had that. What did they say? 15
million, yeah. He thought his had in my pocket. Walk around with a killer like, yeah.
That's what I was ready to say. That's what I was ready to say. So at the end of the day, what y'all was going to tell to the bank machine? Yo, I did go in the bank. Like, even if he had it, how was you going to get it by kidnapping me?
Man,
I thought it was in my pocket.
Well, you know, they got a lot of geniuses in the street. I think they had a plan. I don't know. I don't think they thought it through, though.
They didn't think it did. They just knew. They said he got this much, and we want some of that.
Yeah, and then it was that, but then you had like a lot of family members trying to scam. Mm-hmm. A lot of homeboys trying to scam. You know what I mean? Everybody had a fake smile and a hidden agenda. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And
that was going to be my next question. How did you see yourself through family and friends? Because people who you think you feel like you know and you trust, but a lot of them be the ones who trying to finagle the coin.
Well, the good thing about me is I don't deal with a lot of people.
Okay.
You know, I know a lot of people, but I don't deal with a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of times, if you ever be around, you're going to see the same people. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Now, I might have dealt with people, but you don't see them around me no more. It's a reason. You know what I mean?
You know, you said something the first day we met when I first came down and talked to you, and Tripp said all the time, and I actually put it on a T-shirt. I wanted to wear it today, but I didn't have the pants that I wanted to wear with. But I put on a shirt because you said, when you know, you know. Yeah. And Tripp said it a lot, but he always said it in a joking way. Yeah. But so I told him instantly when you said it, and it hit different when I heard you say it. It was like, no, I'm not going to sit here and tell y'all all of what I got going on. Ain't none of your business. You know, you know.
Yeah. And I don't do that, but I mean,
it made me put it on a shirt.
I just got on social media, right? The whole 11 years I've been home, I never got on social media.
So what made you do it?
Promoting. You know,
that's where you get it from.
You know, and
right.
And not just that, but there's a lot of people because like for instance with my bar, Rosie's Bar and Grill, a lot of people come, but a lot of people didn't even know it was there.
Me, for instance.
Like people that's like they're coming like,
I came into the yard like, wow.
Yeah, people don't know it's there. They be like, something like this right here in the hood. Like, y'all right here. Yeah. Like, but so.
I think it's the hood, but it's all
right. But.
So that's how I was.
But that's everybody. I had somebody tell me, man, I don't come in the hood to no bars or no places like that. I say, well, did you go downtown? So I said, that's the hood.
That's the same thing.
You go to Foyer or Park Avenue, that's the hood.
It's still the hood. It's just somebody else's.
Back in the day, I had a studio downtown. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like it is now.
It wasn't like it is now.
So yeah, but the thing is, like now, without finding out, the internet is undefeated. I'll try to undefeated. I know why I stayed away from it. It's undefeated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I ain't never seen so many people out of gas in my life. Need food. They can't come out the house. Yeah. They got to stay in the house and get a game card for the kid. No, I'm just trying to tell you, that's a whole nother world.
Social media is a whole nother world. When I stopped in that radio, I kept on like, I don't want to do no more.
Yeah.
But somebody else was like, B, this is your thing, this is your gift. Talk to people, do the podcast. And I was like, man, I didn't want to because I don't like to posting stuff all the time. I don't like it. I don't post and stuff all the time, so I really didn't, I see my son up there, maybe he texts me something. So I need you to get this, boy. I really wasn't, trying to be into it. Social media is overwhelming. Like, y'all know all the time, I forget to post pictures. We take pictures all the time. I be like, dang, I ain't posting. And I got a lot on my phone. I'm going to go ahead and catch up to. But, yeah, social media is undefeated. When I came to your spot, and he met me, the big fella, we call him Big Fella from the park. He met me there. He was downstairs when we went down. Yeah. And I was like, yo, I'm blown away. Because he been there.
Yeah.
But I ain't never been.
Yeah, and I didn't know you was talking about when you said, I was like, oh, that's my guy. I know him.
Yeah. So he met me downstairs. And first he was like, you been crying. And I was like, yeah, just because my story with my nephew, and yours, it just made me so emotional. Yeah. So he was like, relax, get a drink. You said you wanted tacos, get tacos. I was like, I just want to go. I was so emotional. I was like, I just want to go. And he wouldn't let me just walk out the door. He wanted me to, like I am, because anything that I feel like somebody going to see me in the wrong kind of light, I don't let people in. I don't let people in my space. And that's for my own traumas in my life. I don't let people in. You can't see me looking any kind of way, catch me off guard. So he kept me there a little bit. We stayed in there a little while. And as soon as I started dancing, he was like, you ready? I was like, man, come on, we out of here. But I really can't wait until we sit down and talk about us doing hot topics out back.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can have it forward.
I walked in that yard, just out there talking about relationships. We're going to do different topics. And on the, you said Wednesday.
I'm not going to be there.
We do different
be a hot topic.
So the thing is, because it's not about.
Everybody trying to do relationship stuff.
Yo, you had to, because the thing is, everybody, first of all, you got to get your drink.
That's just honor women now. Why we got to just talk about
it's
relationships?
You said honor or dishonor?
Honor women. Like, talk about...
But I'm a woman. We get honored all the time. We just had Mother's Day. Let's talk about the funky bitches who don't know the teacher's kids, but they know the bells at the door. Let's talk about that.
I'm not coming.
Okay. You better not do that to me. Bro, ain't nothing get clean late at night. You coming. We're going to come on some Wednesdays that you allow us to, and we're going to do some hot topics. I'm really excited. I've been thinking about it since you said. I can't wait to sit down with him again and talk about it. Okay, and I was going to get to that because I don't want to switch back and forward, but it's good to have an engineer to keep you on your toes.
That's right.
He's keeping me going. So tell me about your book.
I got one book, the first book I wrote called The Come Up, and that basically was talking about a little kid starting out in the 80s, how he used to, wash drug dealer cars and walk their dogs, and eventually, as years went on, well, not as years, during them years, he ended up started hustling, and he started going to jail and ended up going from being a good kid to the streets messing him up so bad, he ended up being a killer, and they started calling him Killer Kid.
God.
And it just takes you through how everything. Like he started out going to get, going to the store for his sister. He had a sister and brother. You know what I mean? He would go to the store for his sister, and, buy a pet milk just to get the change so they could buy a $5 bag of weed and, go to market, carry bags to get money, just so he can go play video games. And this one thing led to another. But the one thing about the book that really I think a lot of people gravitate toward is that it wasn't so much about the come up, it's how he came up.
It's how he came up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because most people look at situations, stories like we've been doing this month, at the come up or where you were, or how much you had, but it's how I came up.
Yeah.
That people don't look at.
Yeah, but
and that's why I do these.
Yeah, so when I was young coming up, all the black people had the bars and they had the stores. And I used to shine shoes and wash their cars and run errands and numbers. And I was, you know, one thing about me, I'm real good with numbers, like my memory.
Okay.
Not with numbers, but that's my memory. So somebody can, you know, guy used to always say, man, look at these for me and just sit right here with me. And I just tell all the numbers. So when the police and stuff come, I ain't know. He don't have nothing. I know the numbers though.
But you know it all.
Yeah, numbers and faces.
Oh, I know you was good. They loved you.
And then I was always.
Yeah,
I've been in the streets since I was 9 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
That brings
Wow.
me to something
Wow.
I wanted to add. Because like right now, with this big topic of these juveniles, juvenile justice and all of that, right? I just learned something recently I've learned, you know, we all learn stuff about each other, even though we've been around each other for years. I just learned something about Sabein recently. The dude was down ECI and was telling me him and Sabein was in training school together. And was talking about how young Sabein was when he was there, like 8 or 9. I was like, man, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, Sabein always been big. He was like 8, 9, or 10.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah. I started going to jail young.
So that's the thing. So I was going to say, so
I'm gonna get to it.
I was going to say, I want to hear, because so that's why even that time, you
And
know,
the
I'm going to go
psychological
home.
effect that has on a kid.
Well, see,
When they want to put these kids in jail.
They put them in, I always say they put them in grown-up jail now, but go ahead.
well, like I had, when me and you had a conversation, you was telling me about your nephew.
Yeah.
And I was saying I've been in his situation. I was 14 years old when they gave me my first murder.
Goodness.
And the thing was that when I went over to city jail, I was young, but I was always big, and I was real aggressive. I always played sports and wrestled for and all that. I just was. I grew up. I grew up in recreation and parks. Like that's back then. That's what you did. You ran track. You played baseball, football. You know what I mean? Whatever. You just in the recs, and the big guys in the recs. You know they gonna put hands on you. Better know
So you
something.
better.
And I had a brother and sister. My brother never fought for me a day, but my sister would.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but
Because women go in real quick.
Yeah, but when I got locked up for my first murder, I went over to city jail, they put me on a hopper section, and the thing about the hopper section, I knew guys on that section, but when we went to school, I knew everybody, but I knew them from when I was in Montrose as a kid. Yeah.
So you.
Yeah. So all these guys. And then another thing coming up, young. I went to school in West Baltimore. I went to school and I got put out of all the schools in East Baltimore. So I had to go to school. I was going to school. I was going to school with all the projects. I was from East Baltimore, Greenmount, going to school with Murphy Homes, McCullough Homes, Lexington Tires. Everybody was CVS.
You already done passed my flag house. You done been Lafayette.
Yeah, so I'm going to school with all these guys, but like I said, I had money, and so I had a lot of problems. So a lot of people don't think, but you know, Puffy said it best. No Diddy, more money, more problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what came with it.
Yeah.
And back to when I was when I went to jail, one thing that I never forget about it was they tried to give me a reverse waiver. And the reverse waiver, it was on your IQ, your weight, your height, and your aggressiveness, if you're aggressive or not. And so I didn't get the reverse waiver because my weight and my height, and the psych said I was aggressive.
I was ready to say
because I've been in a lot of fights. I was in a lot of fights and stabbing and stuff. So I didn't go back to training school. So I had to sit over Baltimore City Jail, and I ended up going to court. And one day I went to court. And I started trial. I had a lawyer, Mars Capman. He used to go to sleep in the courtroom. He was just the worst, but he was the best. You think
he knew his shit when he needed to know.
You might go in there. He don't have no paperwork. It's all in his pocket, balled up. But yeah. One thing that happened, we was in there. We was picking the jewelry. I was in front of Judge Booth, and they had offered me, I think, 75 years. They offered me 75 years. And I remember when I went back, because when you pick the jewelry, sometimes it take a little while. That's like the longest process of the court.
Yeah.
And I went back down in the bullpen, and the older guy was talking to me. He was like, "Shorty, what happened? What's going on up there?" I said, "Ain't nothing, man. He had offered me 75 years." He told me, 75 years? He said, man, it don't even take 75 days. Let them they got to give it to you. And I don't care what it is.
You don't take nothing.
Right? And so that night when I went back, you know, I don't know if y'all know who Flint Gregory Hunter is. He the first person that killed the police in Baltimore.
Yeah,
Right? And he used to always come on the tee at night. The police would walk around, he'd come on the tee. And I was telling him, he was like, man, look, if they ain't giving it to you, you ain't getting it. He said, man, don't even worry about what they gonna do. Just keep on sticking to what you doing. You was by yourself, and they was messing with you, and I'll tell you how the murder happened. Right? Well, I was outside the house talking to this girl in the window. We used to go to school together, and some guys that I was beefing with came out must have seen me out the window, came out the house, and one of them had a gun. We got to tussle for the gun, and I got it, and he died. Right? And that was the murder. But the thing was that his brother was a police. I didn't know that. When his older brother was a police, so they was pushing it. So that's why I never got the reverse waiver. That's why, you know what I mean? But anyway, at trial, when we go to trial, the same brother came in there with a Run DMC, my Adidas shirt on.
Yeah.
On the back, it say, we slay all suckers from state to state who perpetrate. Went on the back of his shirt, and the judge was like, read the back of his shirt.
Why did him sit in the courtroom with that on?
I'm going to tell you. He was sitting on the stand. I didn't see it. I just seen the front. I never saw I didn't see the back.
He came right
And she was just looking, and then he stopped proceedings and said, you got to take that shirt off. You can't be in here with that shirt on.
Yeah.
And he got all irate, and that's a big thing. So after that, you know what I mean, when the jury was seated and all that, I got found out guilty in 2 days.
Yeah, I was ready to say, because he done portrayed his own family as slaughterers and act-ups and go-hards, and you know what I mean?
But
he
jail,
gave the wrong image.
yeah, but that experience messed me up. When I came from city jail, I was worse.
That's the thing.
I ain't had no fear.
Yeah,
You know, mind you, I already been through all the juvenile stuff.
Already. Right.
And I didn't have no fear, but what I did know is that they'll take your life. You know, and that was always in the back of my head. Like, they would take your life, and it wasn't a game. So, like I said, I got back in school. I went to school, and I did all right. But I started hustling, right? And the gift and the curse of hustling is, for everything that you get, when it's all said and done, you ain't gonna have nothing if you lucky. I ain't gonna say lucky, if you fortunate enough or blessed to be able to get away from it. Because everybody that I started out with young, we had drug habits, right? We had gambling habits. We had hustling habits. We had clothes habits. We had all the habits. All women had all the habits. All bad habits.
All bad habits,
right?
Yeah.
All bad habits. And at the end, there was nobody really telling you like what your end game is.
Yeah.
You know,
you should be doing this so you can, by the time you get to the end, you can have that.
Even when you play a game, you play to win, right?
Yeah.
And you know what's at the end.
Yeah. Get into the castle.
But in the game of life, you don't know what your end is.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people meet their demise before it starts.
And I mentioned that at the group with the young men last night. You gotta have an end game. What's your end game?
Yeah. And I mean, and like looking back, like even like when I was in prison, and I used to see a lot of guys come in, and I you know, I would be working out all the time. I just would see guys with all their buddies and running around and all that. And I just see them, and then years later I see them. They on Thorazine. They drinking 10 cups of coffee all day.
You know what I mean?
They just different. They aged. The hair fell out. They looking old. They done let themselves go. And I used to always say like, man, I wonder what I would have been like that when I was 14 if I would have got that time.
Right, because the thing is, they've been through and did so much stuff. That's how they got
right.
Going all
but
that
when they
time.
came in, they started out being tough, running with their buddy. Yeah. So it all, and I've seen guys that used to get a lot of money in the streets and go to jail and just give it up.
Yeah.
Just give up. You know what I mean?
Like
So
turned upside down.
Yeah. So that's what they don't tell you.
Since I talked to you, since you and I talked, I have my sister. I think I was on the phone with you, and she said, asked to send me a picture. So of course that was like, ho. But I was like, okay, you can send me the picture. Because after hearing your story and just hearing about, how your family was, passing away and the time that you did in solitary confinement and all of those things. And then we did the group. So when she asked me, can she send me a picture of him? By then I was like, okay, I'll take the picture. So I took the picture and I put it in the family text group I got with my kids.
Right.
And they like, where you been at, man? We been seeing this. This picture is such and such amount of years old. And I was like, because this is my first time laying my eyes on him since he went back the second time. I think everybody don't, suffer the same. His cousins, everybody, they were looking at me like, man, what you doing? We been saw this. You late. I said, oh, well, I'm sorry. But look at my nephew. He's grown up. It's just the emotional thing. It was a mental blockage. That conversation I had with you that night was so necessary.
Yeah.
It was so necessary.
Yeah, because you can't save everybody else and lose yourself.
And
you saving lives every day, but the whole time you dying inside. Like,
and that's the thing.
That's not right.
That's the thing. I'm here. I'm trying to help everybody finagle this, that, and the third. And then who I'm gonna take my stuff out and give it to?
Yeah. Because there's somebody going through the same thing you're going through, but guess what? It's not an aunt, it's a mother.
Right.
It's a mother.
Right. So it's a big thing. So money, that's what they say. That's what they call you. I just wanted to see what you was going to say if I catch you off guard, because I always say Lamont. So tell me about your situation, far as because so we got a story from a guest the other day, and the guest was saying how severe things was in there for him in the biggest fight he had ever been in, and how he actually thought he was going to pass away from the blood in his lungs, like he was drowning.
He talked about that on the podcast?
But he was just saying how, the thing, it was really severe, and he was saying, even though going through something that severe, how much love him and the person have for each other now. So I was asking you, how do you feel about, going through so much of that? Because what you went for was something you did. Am I correct?
Right. I was wrong.
Yeah.
But being wrong for the convicted and going into the annex, Maryland House Corrections Annex, it was a war zone. Yeah. Right? And I'm gonna say this because I think I told you before, that whole situation is like a trilogy. It's 3 people, and we got a significant story about it. But
we're not mentioning the names, but yeah.
What I will say is that a lot of my fights, well, all of them, I was remembering, because I'm seeing now people walk past me and they be mugging me real. I'm thinking, you don't look at me so hard like that for. But usually I would have been like, yo, the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Insecurities. All my fights came with just being. Yeah. I think I said that before, right? I don't have those insecurities now, right? I grew up,
good.
Right,
That's
and
good.
I believe that situation started. A lot of events started that situation. But for us to really lock in like that, it was insecurities. Yeah. Right. Yeah. At the end of the day, I didn't know him.
I just think it's great how
he didn't know me.
Yeah.
Listen, prison is really designed, especially then.
Yeah.
Right. You have nowhere to go. Right. You in this powder keg. Right. And it's designed for us to really kill each other. Right. It's designed that way. So circumstances came and things took that route.
Yeah,
right? But today, I'm glad the brother survived. I was glad he survived that night because I would have been. That would have been. I would have had another murder. Yeah. Right. So I'm glad that happened. Yeah. And we actually been squashed. It was. When it come out, it's crazy. It'll be like a movie, how it all.
Cause y'all so good, good.
Yeah.
No, it's like, man, my homeboy stripped him. His homeboy stripped me.
He's so.
That's what he said.
Because trust and believe, I had my knife when I went there. Yo, give me the knife. I said, nigga, I'm not giving you this stuff. He's like, y'all gonna go fight. I said, I'm gonna fight with this in my dick.
He's
so it was very significant. And then we had a pact, anybody break the pact. You know what I'm saying? So we it was a few I got paranoid the few times around him. We passed it. But look, man, I'm telling you, it's not like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we held it on. And I love seeing him out here, doing the things he's doing. Right. I always knew when I realized who he was, how sharp he was, he was in the nation. I always heard about that. So, You know, we out here trying to just promote, man, peace after war. It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Peace
And,
after bloodshed.
that's the thing. Like, these kids beefing. First of all of them don't even live on the block that they claim. Nobody even lives around there. Everybody got a purse. I don't know when the purses became popular for men, but everybody.
That's something different. I don't have no purse. I don't know nothing about no purse. I don't want no purse.
I don't know when these boys start getting cool with wearing a purse. I hate everything about it. But, you know, now, what they beef over not even that heavy, and they ready to, like, show enough for war.
Instagram posts.
Yo, I seen you say my mother drawers dirty, or it's just anything. I seen y'all take a picture on my block. Y'all trying to tell me y'all took my block. Like, they are posting over anything. Anything. And they going crazy over each other.
But I'm going to say this. A lot of people, right, are get in situations and don't expect the end game. Mm-hmm. The end game be deadly.
Yeah.
Right? And they don't see it. When you start out,
right.
You're never going to see it.
Yeah.
I don't think nobody died that's dead saw it or even thought they was going to die. I don't care how many guns they had on and all that. I'll tell you, I was beefing with one of the most notorious guys in Baltimore City. Right, It was an ongoing beef. That's how I got. That's how I ended up going to jail. But I'm gonna say this was that when he died, he never thought that he would die like that. He died the same way he lived. Right.
And that's the thing. They'll never think, because you think who I am and what I am. Nobody going to take me like that.
But I see it 1,000 times, and I see a lot of young guys. Like, 'cause, you know, especially like at my club downtown, they ganged up or whatever they call it. The brokest gangs in the world. I never seen so many broke gangs. I mean, because you know, I lived in like 7 different states. I used to hang in different states.
Right.
And one thing, in some of them states, them boys got some money. They gonna hold each other down.
Right.
You know, and it ain't, you know, all that beef and that's cool, but they trying to get some money.
Right.
They trying to figure some stuff out, you know what I mean? And they trying to get in them vans and cars and go to different states, getting some more money.
Getting some more money.
Right? And so what I see a lot of guys, like I seen some guys last night, they beefing about a guy maybe once stole his cell, right? So I'm just sitting there looking, they beefing, they going back and forth. And so the guy said, man, it wasn't nothing but $5, no, $10 sale.
So it's not even like a whole.
Yeah, so I thought, yeah, but they be arguing. Yeah. They be arguing now, around in the neighborhood where my bar and stuff is at. They be around out there, and they was beefing over there about $3. So what I'm saying is, like, if I'm gonna be outside from, let's say, 10 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night to get $3,000, if I get $3,000,
if you get $3,000,
right? Because if they were getting $3,000 a day, that's a lot of money right now.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they're getting that now.
They be all day just trying to get $300.
That's
right?
a good day.
Right.
That might be 3,000 between 20.
Right.
They still got to split it.
Right. Yeah. So my thing is, like, just, you ain't gotta be no rocket scientist, but mathematics don't lie.
Right.
Make it make sense, and how does it add up?
Make sense.
How does it add up?
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not knocking with nobody, do, because like I said, I done like when I first came out, money will tell you, I had all kind of jobs. And I used to do houses. I started out doing houses, right? And what made me stop doing home improvement and all that people would Jew you down so bad. I'm trying to tell you, everybody trying to Jew you down. They don't want to give you your money. They want all this work.
I sit here across from this man. Well, I sit across from this man week after week. So he showed me his mother's yard, and she has a wide home and a big deck. And he showed me part of the work getting done midway and then the end. And I was like, who did it? He was like, me. I was like, man, get the fuck out of here. He's
Right,
like,
he know.
no, I did it.
He know.
And he actually did it. So that's why I'm saying I get what you're saying. You only want to do certain work for certain people because it's like, no, I ain't got time for you. Now you want to give me 50 cents.
No,
where I normally get
not
$20
just
for
that.
this.
No, you might be,
Don't
you
shoot
might
me
be,
down.
you might be working on a house or let's say a deck. How long it took you? Like 4 weeks, a month.
Yeah, so
Right.
it was doing COVID.
Right. So let's say he was doing that for somebody else. Then when it's time to get paid, not only they don't have his money when they say they're gonna have it, but now they trying to drew him down because they trying to come up with everything they can think of.
That's wrong.
But why you should just go ahead and take the hit and just go ahead.
They just did that with a paint job, down there.
When you
So,
came
yeah.
on,
I'm telling
coming
you.
in here with paint on.
Yeah.
That's what happened. So we had a job that I got money to do because I've been just trying to ask whoever got
Right.
whatever going on.
Yeah, that's good.
So
That's-
I could pull up there, stop by, then they going over the price. And he lowball.
I lowball myself.
I know what your pocket's like, and I'm out here looking at and seeing the monstrosity. This monsoon that you done had this man working.
That yard? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to put $50 on
I
that
ain't even
price what you
finished
gave.
that.
Like it was crazy. But then the thing is she was with it. Cause she wanted to give him exactly what she said. What I said she was thinking that anyway. But I'm just saying, like you,
I appreciate it.
yo standing there like thank you. He was just like thank you. But I was just feeling like I'm not gonna be right here.
But that's just
put him on with something.
but that's
and-
just
Nice.
and he couldn't get taken.
but that's
care of.
just coming from where we come from. You grateful just to
We
be
just
working.
That part.
Grateful just to be out here.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
like you know, a lot of stuff with people, I would just do it for nothing.
Right.
You know, I mean,
Right.
like,
Sometimes.
I'm just
That's how big
saying,
fella.
no,
You better not do never free detail.
no, but I'm just saying that's just
Yeah.
coming from where we come from in that mindset because you go back to them places. You know what I mean? Like one day I was driving, and I think I was just at the light listening to something, and I heard something in the song, and I was like, damn, can't believe I'm out this motherfucker. Sped on,
You used to listen to it in the cell?
locked up.
I mean, yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. You know,
That's different.
yeah, just came on, and
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
And it kinda
Out
hits
this
you.
mother, cause I had it on my ringtone. Remember, I had it on my ringtone. My phone when we locked up, money, locked Akon.
Oh, yeah, that was all cool.
Yeah.
That was all go ahead and tell about the cool, man. Let me tell I tell the story.
Man, this bad bitch so much, man. I'm not.
We in solitary confinement,
Uh-huh.
right? And, we was just busting moves from solitary confinement. And then somebody got murdered on lockup, and they cut all of the working men out. No more working men could come on lockup. So we was like, only people we was seeing was the COs.
With the guards. Right.
Nothing could move. So fishing. Y'all heard of fishing before.
Absolutely.
You take the line. So he way down
Yeah.
the tier. We, you know what I mean, doing our thing down the tier. But when both of us got cell phones, right? So whenever he trying to call me, I might be on the phone. Hear how I'm locked up. Cause that
was the song.
Yeah. So because that was.
Basically, that's saying yo trying to get you on the phone.
That was all
I
I
like
was
that. I like that.
Yeah, so he's like, yo, locked up joint, yo. I'm like, hold up. Man, the locked up joint. Like, he telling me to answer the phone.
Basically, yo answer the
We had a
phone.
code. We had a
I
code.
liked it. What was your song?
No, we both had it. We had,
Oh, y'all
my
both-
ringtone.
that was
He
the
had
one.
his ringtone first. I like that. That's serious, right? But it's stuff that I'm saying. We
That's a
made,
good way.
and I'm telling you, we had to make the best out of misery.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's how we survived this shit. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
that's how I survived it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Because of the worst conditions, man. We had each other. You understand what I'm saying?
That's
We
the
had each other.
What we spent,
That's
what,
the thing.
80% of
why I
our
come
day,
Huh?
80% of our day we trying to plot the bus a move.
Yeah, bust a move. Yeah.
Figure out what's-
I
what we
was a
gonna do.
smuggler. I already. There's no way you outthinking me. I'm not gonna get that shit through there. Ain't no way you can talk.
Yo, this guy will call me
It
on the
was
phone
fun.
like, wait a minute, I gotta think of what I was about to say. Then we end up supposed to be 1 second phone call.
My mind was
Always
100 miles an hour.
lasts us to an hour.
And people be like surprised that I'm out here doing what I'm doing. The people that I've been around, not.
Right.
I've been, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I
Moving
mean?
and shaking, getting
It's
something
just
done.
We turn into legal, positive things,
Legalizing
man.
the situation.
It's changed the hustle.
Yeah, because the thing is, your hustle mentality to move to get the money is going to be there.
And it's
You just
exciting to me.
But
Yeah.
you know, my thing is what I do for a lot of guys. I have done it, but I do for a lot of guys. And one thing I do is when they come home, I make sure they go to driving school. You know what I mean? I give them $1,000 Because
Oh.
when you come home, a lot of people don't get nothing. That's how it used to be
Yeah.
back in the day. You
Yeah.
come from jail, somebody gonna give you some money. But I
Somebody
give
gonna
everybody
come for you.
$1,000.
I'm waiting
That's-
until I really need
And
to
I send them to driving school. I help them
Good.
get jobs. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and I basically let them know what's going on. I'll give them like not no talk, but I'll let them know like, look, man, you know what I mean? It's on you now.
Yeah.
You know, I say
Everything's a go.
everything's out here is a
Everything's
go.
a
Ain't no
go.
stop.
Yeah.
Ain't no stop. Ain't no breaks. I don't care what you doing. Everything's a go. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, pause, that's
and
right.
some people get it,
Yeah.
and some people don't get it. They think they got it, and then when it goes bad or it don't go like they, and I see them later on, they be like, man, you know what? I should have listened to you, man.
I won't do this again.
Now I can't get no license. Man, the job that you was trying to get me out, you know what I mean? I was like, man, it was for recreation and parks. I can get anybody a job for recreation and parks
take
if
it.
they want. You know what I'm saying? But you know, try to get people,
Yeah,
where you
right,
and
yeah,
give it
something
back,
back
like give it
up.
something
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And
That's that's what it sounds easy and helpful, but that's one of the hardest things to do. You know, a lot of people think that I'm making tons of cash doing podcasts. And I said, no, most of my stuff come for free. I just want people to get the voice out there,
That's
get
right.
the
The
situations
message,
out
that's
there.
right.
But they tend to attack me. But what you don't know is I'm not here because I'm great. Oh, I got a lot of money. I'm right here because this fit my description. Me and my big mouth fit the description for the person to spread everybody's voice out.
Yeah.
You gotta learn to take what somebody giving you. Don't run off with the first. If I'm ready to give you $10, but I go ahead and give you the $5 and you break, you don't even know you had another $5 coming. You done got out there with that $5 and cut up.
yeah, a lot of people talk themselves out of money fast.
Talk this. That's what I'm basically saying.
They
Talk
talk.
yourself out of a situation.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of them do, and they need to learn to stop that. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. That's why we ain't here. We're talking about things like this. I appreciate y'all for coming in. I just appreciate the story. You being able to tell me the whole thing. I seen when I looked you up through YouTube, I seen a lot of national stuff. I was like, man, I ain't gonna come in here.
You thought I wasn't gonna come?
I said, I ain't gonna
You know, I never talked to nobody on the podcast before. I never
You did a
told.
national news.
Right, but I never ever talked to like nobody
Yeah.
like get no. So
Right,
that's
so-
why I always say if you know, you know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying.
Yeah.
So when I saw the national news coverage,
Yeah,
I was like, oh, he ain't gonna come talk to me and my door, you know.
I told you I was coming,
And
right?
you told me.
Well, my word is all I got. That's
and I
it.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I should have worn my shirt in here, just wore it around my neck, because I got that saying right on that shirt. When you know, you know.
But a lot of people probably see this and be like, never knew nothing about me. Nobody don't know nothing about me.
I'm learning stuff.
Oh, thank you
Question
for
for
telling me. Thank you for coming to me with it.
Y'all both got these inspirational stories, going through all this turmoil. So I know you guys have to be inspiring other brothers that's in jail going through the same thing.
Yeah.
Do a lot of them reach out to y'all or?
Listen, I'm glad you just said that, man.
Yeah.
Because prison reform will be my life's work. You know what I'm saying? Once I really get established and get to rolling. But man, it's a lot of good brothers we leaving behind. I be doing this little Free to Real Friday posts. I haven't been doing them lately. I'm gonna start back. But we got a homeboy named Tony Lamont McGinnis. In his case, it's so crazy that he got life for attempted murder, right? And you got all these guys that had 1, 2, 3 murders in home now, and this man is still in prison, right? It's just crazy. But I talk to the guys, man. I tell them stay out of trouble. Make sure you got that GED, and you coming home. Keep praying. You coming home, right? And a lot of them, man, I be giving them, talking to them, and they be like, man, thank you, man. I needed to hear that. I say, I got it for you all day and twice on Sundays, right? Because I know the brothers need it. And I want to see more brothers out here, man. It feel good to see some brothers out here.
As for myself, not only do I bring the guys, I done paid for a lot of lawyers. They home.
Okay.
And they coming home. Brother just get ready to come home now. He just got his bit cut. However, a lot of them came home, and I helped them get a lot of money the legal way. Like this, because like I said, I'm the first person in Maryland that did it to Maryland. Like I fought the whole state by myself, basically, and won. but it wasn't just a victory for me. I looked at it for everybody because you got exonerees coming home, and I was telling them, don't take the money. But I can't tell a man what not to do when he ain't got no money.
Right.
Well, when I was in that situation, I didn't take the money. I stood on all 10, and I fought for what I wanted, and I was willing to, like I said, take my lick if I didn't get it. You know what I mean? And I just say that to say it's like, when the guys call me, they don't even call me unless they need something, like, because I get a lot of guys, like, with innocent projects, lawyers, or whatever I could do, something for their family. But if a dude done gave up, and my man used to say it all the time, you lay back, you stay back. A lot of guys just laid back, they just gave up. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, to your point though, yeah, and when I talked to them guys, it got so bad that I had to stop taking jail calls. It is because it was just messing with me. You know what I'm saying? It was messing with me bad because I was just, you know, I mean, might be like, Daddy, you running over here, you doing this, you doing that, you sending this, you sending that. Man, look at him on the picture. He just bought some tennis shoes. He bought 5 pair of tennis shoes. He ain't pay no lawyer. So yeah, but it's you know, just gonna do what we could do.
And the reason why I asked that, made that statement, asked you guys that question is because just like your nephew, I got a nephew that's in there too. Same thing, situation. But I think it give them hope when they see these type of stories.
Yeah.
That
Right.
Yeah.
they still can have a chance
Yeah.
to come out here. Because I talked to Miles the other day, and I mean, he's standing something. He remind me of you the way you talk. Remind me of you. And he was on the phone. He was just like, all they respect is violence in here. And that's what I'm giving them. And I keep telling them, like, yo, I get what you're saying, but you got to start thinking.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know how you
But
do
but
that.
I can't tell him that because he in that
You
situation.
can't really know what
Yeah.
situation. You don't know what tear you on.
Absolutely.
You know
That's what I'm
I've
saying.
been on some trenches tears, man, where it's like, man, listen, you know, it's just so happened that they consider me an OG now, and you know, I never really had no kind of problems with people would cross them lines with me. So, but I seen how they was like bullying and picking on other people, especially when they ganged up. You know what I'm saying? So certain situations you just can't avoid, but you just, and then when you try to move, no, you ain't moving nowhere. You got to go to lock up to move. So we're gonna really, man, listen, we're gonna really hit on all of that shit once I really get established to really stop the dumb shit that's going on in the prison system, right?
Yeah.
But with your nephew, right, we know him. I know him. Right?
I know
He know him too.
I know
He came in as a
Yeah.
Yeah, you might know him too, but I'll talk to you later off the camera.
Yeah.
Right, he came. Little Kevin came as a little kid, and Mosey snatched him straight up. Right, Mosey snatched him straight up. He was in the community, and then I think I probably went somewhere, and then I heard that he went home, and then I think then I seen him when he came back. Right, but I wasn't really around that long, but you know.
But I mean, y'all give a lot of dudes some hope.
A lot of hope, man. A lot of
And
hope.
we all gotta appreciate that, you know, because it's one of them things, especially hearing y'all story, it can happen to anybody.
It can't.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I think the
In the
listeners,
situation.
and the young people and the mothers and the fathers need to understand that.
And it
This
happens
can happen to your kid.
It happened so many. I just went to the Mid-Atlantic Gala. It was Friday. I think.
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah. See, he been home 10 years, so he done been to quite a few. You know, it was my first, right?
Yeah.
It was the 25th anniversary. They booked us a hotel, and man, they done freed up. I mean, what 300?
Oh,
300 something people been exonerated.
Yeah.
by this firm. And then, man, the thing is another
Why you
thing.
didn't tell me money so I can go?
It was invitation only.
Oh, okay.
So
I think I'm supposed to be invited everywhere, right?
So listen, everybody's funding is getting cut, right? We really
Yeah.
gotta start, and they saving lives,
Yeah.
right? So hopefully, man, people start donating because they said their biggest funders come from small donations.
To your point, when I first came home, there was this lady used to she sent me $2,000. She was from France, right? She sent me $2,000, and when I got it, I was like, "What the hell?" Somebody wrote me and sent me. How was this? Check. How? So and over the years, he would do it. So right before Christmas, I don't celebrate Christmas. Number one, we took some pictures at my daughter's school or whatever, and I sent her some pictures. And she sent me back. She wrote me back and sent, and she was like, "That was just tears of joy to see with your family,
Wow.
and knowing that I played a part in that." You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you know, you just never know. You just never know who watching and who gonna want to help. You know.
That's another thing that's real significant, man. Listen, all of the faces in there, none of them look like us. They are the people that's going the hardest. Even he talked about when Flint Gregory Hunt. I was in Supermax when he got executed. I had Madison Street window. His family out there. All of the people up there picketing and stuff didn't look like us. Wow. They don't look like us.
And that's how
really
it be a lot of times. We
hard
are not here for each other. That's
Especially
the
this
hardest
mass
thing.
incarceration and this prison reform and criminal justice reform. I'm gonna try my best.
Yeah. And when he asked me, I said, let
really
me know, and I can
appreciate
do
that.
it as much as I can
There's
do.
no way
for
I can
my
ever
end.
be prejudiced. Ever.
Especially when you see it.
Saving lives, man.
Yeah.
Now that's serious.
And that's
Speak on that.
for you to say that.
I mean, I never was prejudiced, but
Yeah,
I would
no,
never be
But the
prejudiced.
thing is, the people
You know what
out
I'm
here
saying?
who are prejudiced and don't even have a legitimate reason why, just because, and look what they're doing for
It's serious.
people who they don't even know.
And
That's
they
big.
didn't even rescue me, right? Because they rescued him. They rescued others.
Yeah,
They came
Sean
home.
came and got me personally. Sean was the first person I met.
Yeah, and Sean, they honored Sean Ambrose.
Yeah,
Who was his lawyer at the time. She wasn't the director.
Yeah, she was the director. Yeah.
Was she
No, she
worked her way up.
She was a student.
Yeah,
she was
Wow.
just a high student overseeing everybody. I think she was like a professor or something, but she was just, you know what I mean, starting. But yeah.
Big up to Sean.
Yeah, she came up when she first talked to me. She was like, "I'm gonna get you out. You ain't supposed to be here." So I've been knew it, but I just had to come and see you. But see, you just stay in so much. Just try to stay out of trouble. I was on lockup.
You was on lockup that day?
I was on lockup there. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's not too right.
We out
It's
here
just
now, though, man. I'm glad
just
I
the
made
thing,
parole.
yeah, just kinda
and I can
helping.
still fight for being out here, bro.
helping the next person, pulling out the next person. Yeah, that's a big deal. This show was fun. I had a good time. I gotta thank y'all both for being here. I would say if y'all come back, but I don't know. You say if you know, you know. So I don't know if you feel like cutting up one day, you'll come back. Because if I know, I know. Money, I know you're gonna come back.
No, I ain't hard to find.
I'm gonna talk to you tonight.
I'm not hard to find. You
Right.
acting like now let me ask you this, because I've been getting word that she's supposed to been coming to the bar.
Right.
Several different times. You ain't
So
made
every
it.
time I'm ready to go, there's nobody to go with me. So somebody
Well,
did say, "Why you worrying about it? He there. He gonna be there."
Yeah. Come on, he know.
That's
He
right.
know what's up. It's all love.
Right, so it's just
And you not gonna never
my
be in there. You
sister
gonna
that
have a
was son, it's just me and my anxiety.
your sister had a ball.
And they said that I actually turned the power off on my phone because they kept texting me so many times.
Had a ball.
Like, well, what you going to
He
do?
just happened to pop in his song.
It happened to see, yeah. Like I said, he was taking the last cards, taking pictures. I said, that's what she did. That's how my sister is. I got to get comfortable, and the more I keep saying, go ahead, now I text, because I wanted to go there for tacos. Was it Tuesday?
That's Taco Tuesday.
I wanted to come Tuesday.
Taco
And I was
Tuesday,
all
crab
dressed,
every
and I was
Tuesday.
like, who gonna go with me?
All you have to do is come.
You know,
I
it's
know.
one of them atmospheres you just come.
That's what I had to start doing,
It's
just
always
going.
gonna be somebody that you know
Bros
show
in
you
the
love.
back, for sure.
Yeah, because
Oh.
you know everywhere
Oh,
I go by myself.
you gonna see everybody. Well, they thought with the back. Well, that's all the jail guys sit at back there with me. They like all my friends jail guys. Yeah, and it goes. They be like, did he just get out? I'm like, I don't know.
Just because they back there with you.
No, but the women be like 15-1.
Yeah.
So every time they see somebody coming, he just got out too.
But I'm gonna tell you, there's a post that goes around on social media, been going around for at least 2 years now. It say, "Hey girls, get dressed. The new batch of niggas gonna get released."
Yeah.
Like so, yes, it's been going around social media for like 2 years now.
Get the fuck
It
out
say,
here.
"Hey yo, girls, get dressed. The new batch of niggas about to get
They should
released."
put out another one and say, yo, they here. Them niggas out here.
Who say?
Oh,
I
man.
can't wait till we do Wednesdays down here. I can't wait to cut up because I just feel like I know it's going to be a good thing. The vibe is going to be really good. I can't wait till Wednesdays.
Wednesday?
Well, we're waiting for Wednesdays when the weather get
Oh, yeah.
nice. So we can look forward to it. And you know, because May, it might rain.
Yeah.
April, May, it not always rain. But June, it normally break.
Them books, are they for sale or?
Okay, so
What?
where will we get your books at?
the crazy thing about the books is, I got them, I wrote them, but I was waiting.
Just for you.
No, I was waiting. I was going to self-publish them, and just started with so much different businesses and stuff, and just got away from them. Okay. But you know, when I was in jail, I was like, I can't wait to go home. I'm gonna post. I'm gonna do this with my books. Everybody will put them out, and I just procrastinate for real. There ain't no excuse. Okay. It ain't no excuse. I gotta get them together though. I gotta get them out there. But I'm gonna tell you, I got kind of scared because I ain't want nobody to start emulating the books. Because like I got another book. I got another book. It's called True to It. All the murders in there are real. But during the time when the murders happened, all them guys was locked up. They home now. Like Cruz was beefing on. A lot of them guys, they done did 30 years. They home.
They on their home.
You know what I mean? They done went.
Cautionary tales. All the books, they gotta be cautionary tales.
I mean, no, it ain't about it. I get that. But you gotta understand is during that time when I was writing, I was coming from my mind.
Yeah.
I wasn't in no mode. You know, no fiction mode, no science fiction mode. You know what I mean? How I saw it, how I talked, how I walked, how I lived, how I was.
That's how it was.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
they gotta be edited then.
I mean, it's but I mean,
Make
but
it
yeah.
non-fiction, you saying?
Yeah.
Little fiction and non-fiction, balance it out.
Change some stuff around in there.
Yeah, but I mean,
sometimes it's just for you.
but it goes back to if you know, you know. Everybody don't know.
I was just going to say, at the end of the day, also, if you know, you know.
Everybody don't know.
My shirt, but I want y'all to, y'all inspired the shirt.
I got it.
Y'all inspired my shirt. It's a royal blue going across it. If you know, you know, with a dandelion flower laid back like this. I gotta see the shirt. I'm gonna have to wear it. Look at me. I'm gonna come down Roses and wear it. I'm gonna come.
You on record. She on record. Let the record reflect. She said she coming.
And everybody knows she got a big mouth. So if I said it, I'm going. DM me if y'all want to go and y'all want to know the first hot topic. I might say meet me. I normally don't go places with people, so you lucky. If you know, you know.
One more thing. We had that event last night. Right down the school from
Sam F.B. Morris.
Yeah, right down the street from your bar.
2 blocks over from
Okay.
There's some good young men down there in y'all neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fathers,
four fathers. Marcus Trent.
I'm real hands-on with that whole neighborhood.
Okay.
Like I deal with a lot of people who, you know, try to do.
Yeah, so these
especially as
young men
kids. That
really
neighborhood, that neighborhood is the first neighborhood I ever seen that really has a lot of kids in it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about kids that go like actually use the park,
Yeah.
use the basketball court. You know what I mean? Use all the sporting stuff that they got. That's what made me want to be a sponsor and a coach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, but they
that
really
community down that way always did have a lot of young people, and I think like the man program, and that's something that probably try to get together with because he actually offered us to use the school building for whatever. He said he got the whole first floor and the second floor. So that might be something we might want to put together.
I just want to let you know because it's right there in y'all back.
Yeah,
It's right
okay.
there. It's right there by you. It's
Definitely with some good young men.
yeah, Pulaski Street. So it's
okay, yeah,
like
right
blocks
across, 2
over.
blocks down, yeah.
And they really do, and I'm telling you, their OG is 24, and he the OG, and he ain't playing no cut cards with the poor niggas. They ain't sitting up, yo, sit up, yo, we got like he want to represent men while he's trying his best. He got a city job, and you can tell he from the streets too. But it's just like when the OG is 24.
Things will change.
Yeah. The OG is 24, and this is a good place to for get together and do something.
Okay.
The gentleman who got the building said, whenever we want, first and the second floor of the school. Well, no, Hollywood Wood did his event there with him, but the man who has that school building is Marcus Trent. Yeah, so he
Big
said,
shout out there.
yeah, big shout out to Marcus
Big
Trent.
shout out to Marcus.
Yeah, he said whenever we're ready. So I think that's something to put together and get some young guys and just do something, even if it's like a North Bay kind of thing. Because the OG was, it just cracked me up that he's 24, the OG. But he was saying how he was trying to get the guys to put together their money, get a spinner van and do Father's Day. He said he wanted to take them somewhere.
Just go to New York.
Go to New York
Just wanted to take them
and
to
just
New
spend
York.
a day. But everybody ain't coming forward with their part to put their money down. And there's only him and then somebody else who put their money down. It's just like so much. And you just see the little man. He's just like a little man. He just trying his hardest to pull it together. And I was like, I'm coming back. Of course, they like take my number. They like, we trust you. We like you. I'm getting a good vibe. So now that I got their trust, I want to make sure that I'm able to get some brothers together and go
Well,
back.
you know enough
and
people,
do
you
something.
be all right. You know
Yeah,
people.
yeah. So that's the plan, to go back to the
Well,
school.
and
And
one
do
thing I can say is information is power. You know how to use it. You just gave me some information that I ain't know about, and then I might use my power to help them. I'll pull up around there and see what's happening.
Yep,
Yep,
that's why
there
I
we
wanted to
go.
bring it up to you.
There we go.
Because y'all seem like y'all trying to do
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Ain't no problem.
And it's right there too,
Your
you know.
brother's right
So
there.
that's good.
Had one young man talk from the group about how it's helping them out raise his kids. Because that's what they're really trying to do, seem like, in that group.
Yeah, because they're young.
They're young
so it's like the
Okay.
group
And they just
is there to help them raise
they're
their
trying to
children.
figure it out.
Yeah.
They trying. You can tell they trying. They like, but before we got to the end of the group, they was breaking down and crying.
Yeah.
And they young, and they like don't got it. Family don't have it. Siblings been murdered. Like they've been through so much to be 18, 19, but they still trying. Like they still trying their hardest.
But they opening up to guys like y'all. They've been where they at.
Cause the men that did
and where
that
they
group,
not trying to go at. Y'all trying to stop them
Yeah.
from not even going
Yeah,
there.
and I enforce parenting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always try to install in people. That's why I show a lot of people around when they come in. They see a whole family running the bar,
Right.
see my kids
That's how it should
working,
be,
my
right.
kids' friends, and you know what I mean. And everybody hands on, and they representatives of me in my apps, and I had to be representing them in their apps.
Right.
You know what I'm
right.
saying? But at the end of the day, you know what I mean. Because when I grew up, like I said it earlier, that's what I saw. Black people had bars, they had stores,
how it was back
they
then.
had the houses. You know what I mean? They had families, they had whatever. There was
Yeah.
families.
It was families
right?
though. It was
And
togetherness.
when I ride around now, you know, I see everybody but us.
Yep.
So I just and a lot of the older people, elders tell me all the time, like, man, we haven't seen this in 25, 30 years. Like, you know,
That's
this
the
is
thing.
beautiful.
And that's what I told my sister when that day he went down there. I said, he ain't there. I'm sure his wife there, his daughter there. He said the whole family run the joint.
Yeah.
Y'all go in there then. They like, you coming? I said, call me right back. And I call me right back. But yeah, I think it's a good thing if y'all do, because their group is not every week or every other week. They probably get their group once or twice a month,
I'll pull up
depending
on-
on when the man is free.
I'm gonna go around.
And they want more. They like want more. They asking for more, actually. All right, y'all. This has been your girl, Miss D, in the building, always. In the building, we got my man over here,
Money McGinnis.
big fella,
Sabein.
and big fella from the park on the other side. And we out. You just gotta wait a minute, let us know when to move.